to Brighton Light, and more importantly, welcome to 2015. Coming up on the show tonight, we'll be finding out all about mindfulness and meditation with Kavya. We'll be talking to Damien Keys about his music school. Our music comes from the fantastic Varjak, and Lynn will be at a church with scientist Richard Robertson. But first, please put your hands together for Kavya. Hello.
Hi guys.
Welcome to the show. So first of all, what is mindfulness? Now this is the $1 million question, and I'd imagine quite a difficult question to answer to kick off with, but it's the obvious one I've got to ask.
No, that's fine.
For those people that don't know.
Yeah. So mindfulness is a form of meditation that's been around for 2,500 years actually, but more recently people are accessing it through an 8-week course. So there's an 8-week course that's been devised particularly looking at stress reduction.
Yeah.
And that's kind of gone viral basically. So they're teaching it in the Houses of Parliament, they're teaching it in schools, they're teaching it all over the world.
Because meditation, there's different forms of meditation. As you say, it's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah.
But is mindfulness a relatively new one compared to some of the other meditations?
No. So mindfulness is actually the meditation that the Buddha was doing when he was enlightened 2,500 years ago. But what's happened is that they've done research onto how mindfulness can affect the neurons in our brain and actually rewire our brain, and that affects our immune functioning as well. So basically, because we've got all the technology of neuroscience now, they've actually been able to wire up meditators and come up with hard evidence that meditation affects the brain. Because they've done that, you can now access mindfulness through the NHS and through other agencies. Before that, we didn't have the evidence. So people who meditated knew it benefited them, but they couldn't say exactly why, and now we can see that.
And it's been introduced in schools, and it's becoming more of a mainstream thing, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
And do you think as it's become more mainstream, is it sort of moving away from Buddhism? Because I know there's links there. I've done the course with you
that's right.
at the Buddhist Centre, but it was interesting that when I did the course, there was no sort of obvious references to Buddhism. Got nothing against Buddhism. Out of all the religions, that's probably the one that I'm most interested in. But I was interested that the course that we did had no sort of direct references to Buddhism.
Yeah. So Buddhism is a lot about psychology and the mind and training the mind. So I think in a way, very cleverly really, this 8-week course has been set up as a secular course. So it doesn't have any faith-based at all. It's about learning how to work on the mind and take our attention into the body. So as such, it's not Buddhist. It's not from any particular faith, although its roots are in Buddhism. But yeah, it's a totally secular course, so Buddha isn't mentioned, enlightenment, none of that. Okay, so apart from stressed out radio and TV presenters, who else have you had on your course? Who comes to your course typically? Okay, so I suppose there's kind of 3 cohorts of people, I'd say, really. You get people who've got a history of depression, because that's how mindfulness was first used in the NHS here for people who've been depressed 3 or more times. So it halves the rate of relapse for people who've been depressed. People who are very stressed. And then I'd say the last cohort really are people who are interested in setting up meditation practice. Just because they want to do something different and they've heard about it, really. Yeah. So how did you get involved in it? I mean, you've become a qualified teacher now, haven't you? Yeah. Initially, I started meditating because of my health. I went to see a doctor when I had chronic fatigue. I didn't know that's what it was. He didn't know that's what it was. In the 80s, people didn't know what it was. And he suggested I learn to meditate. And so I just went along and started meditating. And at the end of the course, I bought a cassette's what we had in those days, wasn't it? And I've just done it every day since. So it really helped me. It really helped me manage my health. But also just be more present to the beauty in the world, and I felt my senses come alive really, and I just switched off from being so kind of wired but tired, which is sort of a central feature of chronic fatigue. So I just found it incredibly helpful, basically. So when there was the opportunity then to train in that, I just leapt at the chance and went up to Bangor and did a master's in mindfulness, and I've been teaching ever since. Okay, lovely. We'll have more about mindfulness a little later on. Right now, we're going to cross over to Lynn, who's at the Brighton Centre, for a church assembly with a scientific something.
Here I am with Richard Robinson and Russell Arnott. We're at the Sunday Assembly where people meet and gather and get together and find spiritual answers to things. And today we heard from Richard about the centrifugal force and gravity, and it was very fascinating. And he almost spilled a bottle of Pepsi-Cola all over everybody.
Okay, so this is a device you can have in those crowded parties when you got people clamoring around the place and bumping into it, and you want to carry a drink around. You don't want to spill your drink. With this device, you see the drink stays in the glass, which is rather clever. Even if it gets really, busy. Wow! Even if you fall over, even if you should happen to go into orbit around the Earth, the drink stays in the glass. It's all right, trust me, I'm a scientist.
And then we saw Russell make snow out of things that you put in babies' nappies. And it was really a very interesting way to begin the Yuletide season.
And if you've done it properly, if you've had it, you should have. Look at that. So now, it's up to you what you want to do with it. If you want to keep it, you can. If you want to have a snowball fight, if you want to pour it on your mum's head, go for it.
So tell us what else we have to learn from science.
Everything that you thought you knew tends to be a little bit on the wrong side. That's what we discover. Yes. So science is there to put things right as much as possible.
I'm a physics teacher, and the problem with being a physics teacher is everyone has to do physics and everyone hates physics. So the fact that you're like, actually, maybe I could make them at least like physics and leave with a school with a positive idea about physics, and not, oh God, science was so boring, but kind of go out into the wide world.
It isn't it part of life? Physics is all about how the world works, isn't it? I don't know.
I thought it'd be very straightforward how the world works, but no, we used to think the world was flat. My demonstration was to show about...
I did. When I was a child, it was flat.
Exactly. That's the default, right? And it's also at the center of the universe, and the stars are doing the moving and we're doing the sitting still. Turns out to be the world is actually a topsy-turvy place.
So tell me, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be doing something wonderful in February.
We have the Brighton Science Festival in February. Everybody is there. Arnott will be there, and many people will be there too.
And what is the point of our going there?
Okay, so we've got a poetry slam, we've got Café Scientifique in a pub, we've got philosophy in pubs, we've got skeptics in a pub, we've got nerd night in a pub. So we've got stuff in the pubs, stuff in the clubs, stuff in the theatre. We've got some great comedy shows, maths comedy. It's unbelievable, the stuff that's going on now.
All that in February at the Science Fair, is that it? The Science Fair. Science Festival. And now, Guy, I hope I've stimulated you to start thinking a little about science instead of what you usually think about. And back to you in the studio.
I don't know what she means. Kavya, going back to the mindfulness meditation, you say it's something you do every day. So how much time would you commit to doing that every day?
You need to have about 30 to 40 minutes to do a mindfulness practice every day. But also, as you know, it's something that you do throughout the day as well. We can just notice when we've got too caught up in our heads and sit down and bring our attention into the body, feel the soles of our feet on the floor, connect with the breathing. So it's something we can do throughout the day, as well as setting aside time to do what we call the kind of formal practice.
Yeah. I think typically, on the course that I did with you, maybe it was 15 people, something like that.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, it was down to like 8 to 10 people.
Yeah.
So it's quite a tough course, and it's not for everybody, is it? But I think what I found was the commitment. Like, you have to sort of commit to it and believe in it and put some time aside for it, don't you, for it to work?
Well, what they found when they did the research is that people actually learn through experience. So most of us don't learn through knowing something's good for us. We have to have an experience of it. So when they came up with the 8-week course, what they realised was if people don't have enough experience of meditation by the end of the course, they won't have had a positive experience and have the motivation to carry on. So that's why we really insist that people do a lot of practice. And I always say it's like learning a language as well. If you just do it, for 10 minutes a day, you never really get fluent. So you've really got to put the time aside. But I think, especially now it's so popular, a lot of people think they're going to go and buy mindfulness. So going on a course, as you know, that doesn't buy you mindfulness, because ultimately you've got to do the practice, and it's not easy. So it is down to people people taking responsibility really for their lives and their health.
Well, we're going to practice now during the adverts.
Okay,
we're going to
excellent.
meditate during the adverts. And then join me after the break. I'll be joined by Damien Keys from DK Music. We'll see you shortly. Welcome back and welcome Damien Keys from DK Music Academy.
Thanks very much.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah, nice to be
So before we talk about the Music Academy, you were quite instrumental, very instrumental, not quite, very instrumental in setting up BIM.
I was.
Which is the Brighton Institute
of Modern Music.
Which is sort of well famous now, I would say.
It's definitely got bigger than
Yeah.
when we first set it up, yeah.
So take us back to the beginning. When did you first sort of set that up? When you set up with a group of people, is that right?
That's right, 2001. So I worked at a different music college in Guildford, and we decided we wanted to do our own music college. We looked all around the country for different places. Brighton seemed to be the coolest place at the time. So much history with, quadrophenia and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just seemed to be in the news quite a lot at that time. There's a lot of sort of DJs and less live music down here. And it was myself and 3 others, and so we all moved down to Brighton and started what was at the time a very small music school. And then every year it just seemed to expand and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
So in terms of age range, was it for school leavers specifically, or?
Yeah, I suppose you had sort of 2 sets of ages. You had kind of 16 to 19-year-olds, guys who'd either finished their GCSEs and A-levels, and then you had kind of sort of more mature students, which could be any age. So you do get all ages, but predominantly it tended to be at the time sort of 17 to 22, 23-year-olds.
Because around that time I was in a band, but I needed guidance.
Should have come.
Damien, I should have come, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
But now, could I join now, for instance? And is there still? Based on I'm asking, is there still time for me to be a rock star?
Yeah, I think there is.
But I could come and learn the guitar or sing.
Yeah, guitar, bass, drums, vocals. I think the thing is, for every massive success story that you get, there's also, everywhere in the country, there's also lots and lots of musicians that want to get better, and they want to have a career in music. And I think that is, my background has always been helping musicians into getting that step from the bedroom into having a career in music.
And Kooks famously formed at BIM.
That was our first major success back in the day, which was
not bad.
Which was quite big. I remember they performed the Sofa Song, which was one of the songs on their album, in our live room, and then I was like, that's really good. Yeah, that's a good song. And of course, then the album went mental, and it wasn't surprising. I think when bands start to break and get bigger, you a lot of the time you're not surprised when they put that much work into it.
So you set up DK Management, and then you're now sort of DK Academy. So this is your own music school, as it were.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is slightly different. So instead of being full-time education where people get degrees, this is more about learning to play at a high level.
Okay, right. I think we're going to check out a film now. Let's see Damien in action.
DK Music Academy. We have all different age ranges. Our youngest student is about 5 years old, and we have students that are retired and looking for a new hobby. Lessons are either 30 minutes or 60 minutes. It just depends on what you need and how your tutor feels about your age and your ability and how they best can help you in your lesson.
I think my vision behind this place was one centre where you can actually teach people to play with great facilities on a part-time basis for anyone of any age and any ability. We've got a lot of stuff here, from the electric drum kits through to the floor pedals that we use, the amps that we have. The teachers are all fantastic. They're all here for the same reason, which is to excite people into playing more and inspire people into playing more. I've been recruiting tutors for about 17 years, and what I look for in tutors is communication skills and being inspirational. Inspirational is the most important thing for me, because if you're an inspirational teacher, then your student will want to go away and be hungry for knowledge. They'll want to go away and learn. We do look for tutors that are qualified, that have a lot of experience, but the most important thing is the results that our teachers can get for our students.
Hi, I'm Jess and I teach the vocals at DK Music Academy. I trained at theatre school and had lessons there, and I went to gospel choirs. They come in and they tell me what they want and I'll cover it. So from grades to I want to sing with more vibrato, I want to sing more like this person. It doesn't matter really, whatever you have in mind, and we can just work around it. The bit I like the best about it is I come out of it and I feel really happy and energised. It feels like I've just done a gig, even though I've just taught a lesson.
We offer a free 30-minute consultation. Gives you a chance to have a go and see if it's something that you'll enjoy, and it gives us a chance to see the current ability that you're at and how we can help you. If you're interested in coming down to DK Music Academy, give us a call and we can book you in for your free 30-minute lesson.
Oh, looks fantastic. If only I'd had that when I was 17. Where could I be now? Do you play a musical instrument or any?
The guitar, not very well though, but I like to sing, so I just use the guitar to carry my voice, yeah.
To carry your voice?
Yeah.
Interesting, okay. We need a guitar now. I feel like we should have a little sing-along.
Yeah, let's get you a guitar.
Put you on the spot. So you're in Hove, Portslade, the Academy?
Right, just on the edge of Hove.
Okay.
Just behind Woody's Diner.
Okay, so if people want to sign up, they can sign up. Is it like a sort of a typical college term where people can sign up?
No, it tends to be one-to-one, so
okay.
It's kind of weekly and it goes throughout the year.
Yeah.
So and you're assigned a teacher, so that teacher will stick with you throughout your time while you're learning.
Okay. Now I mentioned the frustrated rock star in me. My band has reformed, but I'm a terrible singer. So I could come to you and you could still save or relaunch my career as a singer.
Well, I'll have a go.
That doesn't fill me with confidence. Is it possible for anyone to learn? I mean, obviously some people pick it up quicker than others. But would you say, because I've had singing lessons before, and that teacher would say anyone can sing. Anyone can learn to sing. Is that? Would you say that?
To an extent, yeah, I do believe that. I believe anyone can get better.
They can get better, but not necessarily.
I think there's certain,
at a good level.
I mean, when you look at the top level of your, Ed Sheeran, Jessie J, they've got phenomenal talent and phenomenal voices, but you do get the more you put in, the more you get out. Simple as that.
Yeah. I've got to ask you: have you ever meditated before, or have you tried the courses that?
No, I haven't. We were
done?
having a chat earlier, and we figured out that the crossover point is Kung Fu Panda. Rock and roll, meditation.
Yeah. Does that work for you?
Yeah, definitely.
That's good.
Kung Fu Panda all the way. Yeah.
Good. So very quickly, where can people sign up for mindfulness courses and find out more about it?
Okay. So if people are interested in mindfulness courses, they can go to the Brighton Buddhist Centre website, or also Evolution Arts website. So we're running courses in January, but they tend to be booked out in January because everyone has the resolution to be really mindful and healthy. So if people want to do that, they need to get on with it now, actually.
Okay, good. And Damien, if people want to learn to play guitar, sing, any instrument?
Yeah, any instrument. It's dkmusicacademy.co.uk.
Lovely. I'll have you. Damien, thanks very much for coming on the show. And here to play us out, Varjak.